Good morning, Anambra, Thursday edition. How are you? How did you sleep? I think that's the question today, or in everybody's sleeps. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Sijama. We'll take a break here. When we return, I introduce the program we have for you today.
Lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. One cube, endless possibilities.
Okay, welcome again. What we have built for this moment is the press review. And I already have someone who has joined me to look at the pages of newspaper today. He is Judge Eche Obiokoye. Judge Eche Obiokoye is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Welcome. Okay. Okay, in absence of website news, let's hit the papers. Okay, the first paper this morning is the Daily Sun. Daily Sun newspaper. Beside the net template, don't hinder immigrating nurses, Obi urges NMCN. But the banner headline on the paper says, Northern monarchs fear mass revolt. Wow. Are we clear with this? Okay, say Nigeria sitting on gunpowder, things getting to point they can no longer pacify people. Okay, so that's been a headline on Daily Sun newspaper place. And then down here I have this other story, Revs proposed return to parliamentary government. There is perhaps seeking for the solution of what we're having today. Okay. Another story is coming from there. Tinubu orders Women Affairs Ministry to restructure World Bank loans or their grants. And then food crisis, federal government releases 42,000 tons of grains. Oh, well, these are the stories you'll find on the front page of the Daily Sun, please. And then Vanguard newspaper is next. Vanguard is next. Bandits now rape our women. Zamfara indigenes lament. Bandits now rape our women. Okay, let's see if we can make sense from the riders here. We are, okay, following the right step to end it. It says government and then police personnel. Okay. And then UK lawyers can't practice in Nigeria, say federal government. And NBA, why? I thought they endorsed it. Why are they going back on their ways again? Okay, Governor Abiodun votes 5 billion naira to tackle rising cost of food. I don't know. Okay, let's say that's all we're taking from that paper. Let's see Guardian newspaper before we start talking. The Guardian newspaper, forest crisis pushes petrol subsidy to 907.5 billion naira monthly. That is the banner headline on the Guardian newspaper. Other stories coming from there. We can no longer pacify Nigerians over hunger, hardships, Sultan warns. And then retail investors in launch as fresh delisting plans near conclusion. APC, INEC, tender conflicting documents at Bayelsa Guba Petition Tribunal. There's the front page of this Guardian is very busy this morning. A whole lot of stories coming from here. Senate begins constitution review as reps canvass return to parliamentary system in 2031. Okay, Wike places 20 million naira bounty on 3 wanted kidnappers in Abuja. You can explain entire. Out of school children epidemic and 68 billion naira UBEC fund. Power sector, between subsidy, cost reflective tariff and the service delivery. Okay, let's start talking. Eche Obiokoye. Yes, the banner headline here is talking about revolution and how it's getting difficult to control people that are hungry because there's this adage that said a hungry man is an angry man. So the northern monarchs are now warning that there may be revolution because we can't control these people anymore.
Yeah, it's a very sad situation because the prices of commodities in the market, it keeps increasing every day. So the northern monarchs, they have a point. But then we know that from reports that the government is already trying to ameliorate the problem and bring down the price of goods and commodities. So I believe within a little time, prices will come down from cement to other commodities.
Okay, how are they going to do that? Because, I don't know, they want to share food to all the citizens of this country. The other day, just yesterday, we saw a video that is trending where they're sharing 100 naira bread and they're using a very big stick like a rod, hitting people that are struggling to get one loaf of 100 naira bread in Lagos. So is this the way we're going to continue to ameliorate hunger in the land? This is just one street in Lagos. We're not talking about everybody that is living in Lagos, okay? And then what about insecurity? Where would the food come from when you can't even access your farm? You go there, you get killed by bandits that they have deliberately opened the borders and allowed to come in, okay, and chase our farmers out of the farms. The other day you had a video that is trending too, where the northern governors met and one of them, the Niger State governor, was warning, nobody should come here and buy food again because we don't even have enough for ourselves. Okay, so what magic do you think government can do to take care of this situation?
Well, there are a lot of things government can do. The major problem is that this issue wasn't tackled when it began. So now things got so bad before the new government of President Bola Tinubu came in, and the new CBN governor made some statements. There will be changes in monetary policy, in the dollar issue. So because once the price of imports comes down a little, then it will trickle down to other sectors. But then
And you know how you created the problem, and you are looking for solution where there is none. Okay, you remove oil subsidy, you devalue the naira, and this crippled your economy, and you are sharing loaf of bread and rice. How can this, take care of the problem you have created? They know what is the problem. So why are they just beating, I don't know how to put it. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Propose return to parliamentary government. We saw that story where, again, I think we saw it in the Guardian newspaper. Okay, things are really getting out of hand, and then we are trying to see that this democracy seems not to be working. So why don't you rejig? Why don't you try another method to see if we can get it right? So do you support the reps?
Well, the both parliamentary system is still democracy. I think the fundamental problem with Nigeria is our systems, and parliamentary systems can also be corrupt. So if we can fight corruption in this presidential system, we'll get a lot better and change the system so that civil servants and politicians cannot just drag a whole lot of money out of the system. And you know the news about forgery of signature of former President Buhari's signature, and more than $6 million was stolen through forgery.
Do you believe that story?
I saw it in the news. But if these kind of things can be mitigated, those monies can be used for the welfare of the citizens. So I believe that the parliamentary system will not solve our problems.
The money that the Abacha loot that has been coming in for the past 7 years, for the past 10 years, how has it affected the life of the common man, of a common Nigerian?
Well, it has
because they will retrieve this money and it still gets to the where it used to go. It doesn't trickle down. So what is my business, whether it is in Lokoja or in Abuja? It is the same people that are handling it.
Yes, that's why I said like now we have a pastor as the EFCC chairman. And so if he does what he said he would do, then the issue of corruption, even people will be afraid to steal money. But if there is no fear in the system, then people steal anyhow and it won't get down to the masses.
I see. Okay, let's look at the banner headline of this Guardian newspaper. Forest crisis pushes petrol subsidy to 907.5 billion naira monthly. How are we going to handle this? Because we know where our problems are. But we are just trying to deceive ourselves. How are we going to handle this?
Well, the issue of forex crisis is, like I said, a lot of mistakes were made under the last administration. So this new administration of President Tinubu, they have a lot to do because for this forex issue and subsidy, it's been removed or partially removed, but it keeps reoccurring because the naira is very weak against other foreign currencies. So I believe it's something the CBN and other industry stakeholders will sit down and look into so that the Nigerian masses can get a sigh of relief.
I see. Okay, let's look at the power sector. The power sector, the story is still coming from Guardian newspaper, between subsidy, cost-reflective tariff, and service delivery. Is that why we're not having enough supply? Is this what is hindering? Otherwise, I don't know why we cannot generate enough power to transmit and then distribute to our people.
Well, the issue of power is a very delicate issue. The 9th National Assembly, they removed power from the exclusive list. But unfortunately, the federal government still controls the transmission because there are 3 aspects to power: generation, transmission, and distribution. So it needs to be fully deregulated so that real capitalism can come into it with people that are serious to provide the power for the charges they are billing on the Nigerian people.
So you're talking about charges, the electricity tariff to double as federal government considers a hike over debt burden. This is, they can generate, you can transmit, you can't even distribute, but then you are hiking prices. So we will be paying for what we are not consuming, as a matter of fact. Okay, so how do we relate this? How? Because some people have come, some critics have come to say that all the policies that are being shunned out by this present administration is anti-masses. Okay, there is no way they try to inconvenience themselves to tackle the economy, but yet rather they inconvenience the masses. Okay, so why electricity tariff? Why are you doubling it? Why talking of increasing anything now? Why where we are now, we cannot afford it? What is this kind of policy for?
Well, the issue of electricity tariff is, it's unfortunate, it's affecting a lot of people. In fact, Nigerians are even willing to pay some level of electricity bills if they actually see the light. So part of the challenge, the concern Nigerians have is that the light is not steady and the bill keep increasing. But I still feel that this government is still new. Maybe after 1 year or 2 years, we can now judge some of the things they've done to see the impact.
Let me tell you what I feel about this government and people, the politicians coming out to ask us to give them vote that they want to rule us. This idea of when you come in and you start blaming the other, the past government, I think we have heard enough of it. They have messed up, they have done a lot of things, they have churned out very wrong policies, they are doing that, let me come and correct it. And then when you come, you start referring to what happened. If you knew the problem, you knew you were going to tackle it, and that was why you came out. Okay, and now when you come, you start giving us excuses again. Why don't you just, didn't you have plans? Before you know, this government has run for 8 years. This is a mess they have put here. Okay, if I come in, I'll handle this one like this, I'll handle this one like that. You just come in and start working and stop complaining. Well, what do you think?
Well, the issue is that government should be a continuum, but sometimes a new administration comes in and realizes things are not so rosy. Because, you know, politicians, when they are campaigning, they make all the issues seem simple. Just throw money at this, and the issue will be solved. So when they actually come into power, they realize that things are actually real and that there are issues that are dumped there. So many stakeholders that will not allow progress. So they start confronting those issues, and that is where you see that when people enter power, they don't always do all they promised.
Okay, fine. The Nasarawa Zamfara people, bandits now rape women. Zamfara indigenous laments. The other time we were talking about what do you call it? Making sure we have enough food on our table. And I told you that how can we do that when you can't even go to your farm to bring out what you have planted, or even to go and plant as the case may be. Now, this is what these people are experiencing in Zamfara. The bandits come in, destroy their goods, rape their women, and tomorrow you ask them to go back to the farm. How? How? Are we going to continue like this? What do we do to our security? To insecurity?
I believe part of the things that can solve the security challenges is to empower the citizens. You know, the former Zamfara governor, Governor Matawale, there was a time he asked the government to allow people to be armed, so that just like in the US, where they have constitutional gun rights to protect themselves, because if the government cannot protect the people at all times, then the people should be able to protect themselves against the bandits.
Okay, let's look at other papers we have here. A whole lot of them. Okay. Punch newspaper will be our next paper now. I think we have seen Vanguard, haven't we? We have seen Vanguard. Bandits now rape women. Okay, let's see Punch. The Punch. Tinubu governors meet over food crisis as emirs. And then MBA laments hardship. Tinubu is the president, and then he's going to meet the governors over food crisis as emirs. MBA laments over food crisis. Okay, I think we'll have talk about that. But what do you think about this meeting? Do you think it's going to yield any results?
Well, the meeting can yield results because the emirs control their territories. So these issues of security...
also control hungry people?
Well, they can, if there is a good agreement on some of these security issues, especially in those north central states that produce a lot of food, then it can yield results, because part of the problem we have is the places like Benue, Taraba, Plateau, Niger, that produce the bulk of the food we eat in the country. The insecurity is too much. The land grabbing, you know, killings here and there. So if these security issues can be addressed, I believe it will be a good step in solving the food crisis.
Okay, fine. Talking about insecurity, Daily Independent says, NBA writes Tinubu over insecurity, says Nigeria is under siege. Worried, bloodshed now, daily occurrence, sending fear to citizens as they shed the blood. The government I mean, the government doesn't even care, but they don't even talk about it again. If they have opportunity, they will even shut the social media so that nobody talks about it. Is this the way to live? Is this the way to live? How long are we going to continue like this? Not caring for the people when the primary responsibility of government is to take care of security of life and property of its citizens. But that doesn't seem to be attainable here. Perhaps that's why NBA is Nigerian Bar Association, is writing Tinubu over insecurity, saying Nigeria is under siege. Okay, let's talk about this insecurity. I will mention, I said something while we are talking about food scarcity, that one of the reasons why we're having this is because these bandits that are coming from other countries have dislodged the farmers from their farms that they cannot cultivate and produce food for us to eat. Okay, so what is the government doing about this insecurity, about this surge of bandits coming from different parts of Africa and beyond to come into Nigeria and destabilize this nation?
Well, I think the government, from the public statements they are making, they've been working to solve the issue. But sometimes I feel the issue is more local because like the other news we discussed, the emirs, the traditional rulers of those communities, they need to have a real dialogue so that the farmers can retain their farms and the people that are passing with their cows, and so they can, have somewhere reserved for them where they can do their own business. This was part of the grazing laws that were discussed some years ago, but I don't know why it was not implemented.
The bandits are not with cows, they are with guns, AK-47. They come here to kidnap, they come to kill, they come to devastate our economy and our land. This is not herdsmen case now. These are just bandits that are coming into Nigeria to destabilize. And then we are watching, like somewhere in the Bible, somebody was asking God, why are you standing like a soldier without a gun? Because you know that what you identify a soldier with, it's not the uniform, but the gun that he's carrying. So how can you stay in your house and somebody come from nowhere? It's just like if you bring it very close to you. Somebody just came into your house and start, damaging things in your house, and you'll be watching. Does it happen? It doesn't even happen anywhere in the whole world. Look at Ghana and all these people, they are just mocking us because of the level of insecurity we are experiencing here. And something will happen, you will misbehave in Cote d'Ivoire. They will tell you, no, this is not Nigeria, where you guys go and misbehave. A giant of Africa. And nobody is talking, nobody is doing anything. Is that the way to go?
No, it's not. I believe the government should take a look at securing our borders, especially our border with Niger and some of these other countries, where those bandits, usually from the Sahel, North Africa, they come in and they start causing a lot of havoc. So we need to shut the border if the issue can be controlled, at least for some time. And the government should also, like I said earlier, look at empowering the citizens to acquire their own guns and weaponry. So that, because you see every day, you see pictures of people that were slaughtered in their sleep, villages burnt down. And people tell me that, if they allow citizens to have guns, that they will all kill ourselves. But I say, these people that were just slaughtered, they didn't kill themselves. I mean, they didn't commit any crime.
You allow some set of people to carry gun and kill others that don't have guns.
Because the bad guys will always have guns. That's just how crime works. Even if you collect guns from all the good people, the bad people will always have a way to access those guns. So the government should look at giving Nigerians something like a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, like applicable in the United States.
Okay. Let's look at the last paper this morning, the Daily Trust. Daily Trust newspaper, hardship, Nigeria sitting on a keg of gunpowder. This is coming from Sultan of Sokoto. And then it has some riders here. We will distribute 42. This distribution of grains makes me sick, you know, because since they started distributing, I've never received a grain in my house. So how many people can you distribute these grains to? Iotago, we will distribute 42,000 metric tons of grains for free. Federal government test citizens. They are just annoying us. So we have turned us to beggars. We come and queue on the line. You'll be dashing us food when we can fend for ourselves. Give us the enabling environment. You know, reject this your killing policies and let people fend for themselves. We don't need to beg food. Nigerians are great people. No, crashing food prices is better, the expert is saying, instead of distributing. Crash the food prices.
You're one of the experts.
How can you crash food price? How can you crash the price of food that I did not produce? I will go to the farm, risk my life, I miss herdsmen and bandits and produce, and you come and crash the price. You know, did you fund me? You didn't give me anything. You didn't finance my farming. These guys are just confused. Okay, the last one saying, can NBA demand concrete action? Zulum Abiodun Sanwo-Olu unveil measures. Hey, this thing just divests me anyhow. You know what to do, you don't want to do it, and you're just beating around the bush. Okay, military bust gun factory in Plateau as they hot. Okay, and then header, skill one, burn 146 houses in Yobe, oh my God. Where did these people run to? 146 homes burnt down.
It's so unfortunate, but you know, the new security architecture, led by the chief of army staff, I think is General Labaja. You know, they seem to be trying to nip this security situation in the bud, but they are still experiencing challenges. And like I said, it is something that can be discussed with all the local leaders, because security is not only an issue of force, it's not only an issue of arresting everybody you see. When the leadership, some of the Seriki and all those people that are in charge of those guys, they are not yet accommodated in the dialogue. So I believe there should be also a local aspect to solving the security situation.
Yeah, we've been having them around. There's local vigilantes down here in the east. Which one? What do they call this one that is in Kano and the northern part of the country? And just very recently, Beiti Allah launched their own local vigilante. So how far will these people go? What is the duty of our military, the police, and so by the time this guy takes job from them, what do they do?
I think part of the problem is also that the issue of state police. I think it will help in solving some of this insecurity situation, because when you have state police, the majority of the force will be from the indigenes, the citizens of that area that understand the terrain. Because sometimes when you bring somebody from Kaduna and make the person a DPO in Akwa Ibom or in Bayelsa, the person doesn't know the terrain, doesn't understand the waters and all those, you know, slums and all those watery areas. So how would the person function optimally? So I think the issue of state police can really help in solving the security situation.
This state police issue has been trending for a very long time now. At least I know it trended throughout the Buhari regime, and people are still calling us for it. What do you think government is not giving heed to that?
Well, the federal government always has this concern that the governors might misuse the state police architecture.
Just as the federal is misusing
you see, so I always argue, if the situation we have now is not giving us what we need. Why not let's try something else, which is the state police? And if the governors misuse it too much, then we can go back to the only federal. But you have a situation where before a governor makes certain security decisions, the commissioner of police may have to go and consult the IG to give approval. You know, so it's a really cumbersome situation, and I think state police is the way to go.
Okay, thank you very much. George Eche Obiokoye, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's how we have seen it this morning in our press review. My name is Sijama. We'll take a break and then we'll bring you other programs we'll have lined up.